This episode of Ticket Volume is brought to you by us, Invigate. Get service operations under control in no time. Get 1 free month of our software solution by going to try.invigate.com. Ticket Volume is proud to present the co-author of YaSM, owner of IT Process Maps Germany, and co-author of the IT Process Wiki. He got his start in IT as a pre-sales and technical consultant at Signalbau Huber, served as head of IT architecture and strategic planning at ADAC, and spent 5 years as a process consultant at IDS Scheer AG. Welcome to Ticket Volume, news and information for improving IT experiences. I'm your host, Matt Barron, and each week I have the pleasure of being able to meet with different leaders and thinkers in our space around service management, technology, and business. And this episode, we're going deep. I hope you're having a great day and a great week, and I also hope that you'll leave a comment or share our podcast with someone. We want to improve, we want to grow. Please help us do it. I'm begging you. Now, let's begin. Welcome to Ticket Volume, Stefan Kempter.
Hi there. Hi, Matt.
Yes,
thanks for being here today.
My pleasure. Thank you for being on Ticket Volume. When we met and now today, I have to fight my urge to be a fanboy because I've referenced your work many times. So let's get right into it, because your work is, a lot of it is out there and on the web, so people can just see it, starting with IT Process Maps and the ITIL Wiki. I have to ask right away, how is this possible? Where did you get the idea, and how did you start?
Why is it possible to publish on that content? Because you can own the intellectual property rights of a specific block of a specific text. So we cannot just copy pages of a book and publish it. But you cannot own certain ideas. So you cannot own the way in which you should handle an incident problem that is just public domain. It can't be protected, it can't be patented, and that's why everyone can describe how, say, an incident should be handled. And that's what we did with the IT Process Wiki.
Yes. It's such a simple concept, but so foundational to our industry, right? We have to be able to speak and share how we work.
Yeah. And how did the idea come about for the IT Process Wiki? It's not an altogether altruistic kind of thing. It is very useful for a lot of people, but for us it's also a honeypot, because somewhere on the left-hand side we advertise our products, we advertise the products that we use to make a living. So for us it's part of a freemium kind of business. So
yes, a business model that is very popular and very useful. I think anyone in my audience or anyone in IT service management, if you've Googled a process map, it is very, very likely that you have come across IT process maps, because they're complete and they're useful and they're really well done. So I have to ask, how popular is it? Do you know how many people go and view this kind of content?
Yes, of course, we have some statistics for our websites, and I do not know, of course, who it is visiting, but we have, on a typical weekday, we have around 5,000 visitors on our ITILs. And a lot of those people are repeating visitors. They use us as a reference during their daily jobs. Yeah. It's not all visitors, but it's used as a reference.
Yes, it really is used as a reference. I've used it as a reference dozens of times. It's always super useful. It's the fastest way to get the answers sometimes, rather than opening a book or, referencing your training materials. Sometimes we just want to search. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It's good to hear that it's useful.
Exactly. So I want to talk about your other baby, your other major product, which is YaSM,
But
and which stands for Yet Another Service Management Framework. What is it?
uh, what is it? It's first a description of processes, a somewhat clearly structured, streamlined description of processes. And to answer what it is, we should probably also provide an answer to why did we do it? Why is it here? Uh, we have been providing process templates for ITIL for many years. And for most of the time, we provided ITIL based templates. I described 26 service processes as in ITIL. And although a lot of people liked to use these templates, we always kept hearing, couldn't this be a bit simple? We have those 26 processes, but probably not all of these processes are equally important. Some may not be processes at all. For example, in ITIL, we have something that is called a knowledge management process. But when you read that chapter, you find concepts, methods of knowledge management that can be applied in other processes. So if you read about a process and try to implement a process, somehow runs along other processes and manages knowledge, that's really difficult. So in ITIL, we went a bit back to basics and say, we do knowledge management. We use these principles. I mean, that's all guidance. But we can apply this guidance in other processes, say in strategy management, in incident problem management, wherever. So the idea for YaSM was born because a lot of people said, couldn't we have something a bit simple, something that helps us implement the key elements of a good service system that we can expand? We don't want to start with something complex and try to find out where are the things that we need. We want something a bit simple that we can expand as needed, that we can more easily adapt to the needs of our organization. So that's how the idea for YaSM came about.
Yeah, and you've been working on it for quite some time. How long ago did it come out?
We published the first version in 2014, and work started in 2012. So it was really 2 years of hard work. At times, I just couldn't see it anymore. I just thought it's something, it's such a long slog. I'm not sure if I can finish it. And even today, I think it's a bit like doing a PhD. Maybe it's a good experience to do it once, but you don't want to do it.
There's a reason people don't switch frameworks every week. And it's that long slog. It is such an effort to build it all and capture all those details and follow them and practice them and iterate on them. It is so much work. And so let's talk about when you buy YaSM, when you buy Yet Another Service Management Framework, which sounds really funny when you say it that way. What do you get? What is the outcome? Are they buying services from you? Is it a process pack? What is it?
It is a bit of both. It's a little bit of services. I stopped working as a consultant, starting a business of my own, because when I worked as a consultant in the earlier days, I realized I do not have time to prepare my tools properly. Nobody, when I worked for a consulting company, they would not give me 2 years time in the office to develop a process model. Impossible. So today, I focus on providing templates. What you get from us is not so much software. It's a collection of templates, visual diagrams, for example, Word templates for the documents you create in service management. It's that kind of thing. You get a collection of documents. And when I say you get a bit of service, it means I'm around if you questions. For example, that could be technical questions, who can publish this SharePoint submit, or there can be a discussion, why did you design a process in this way? Yeah. So when somebody has a question, then here often we do support in the same way as we do this recording today.
Yeah.
We have a Teams meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's so refreshing to have that, right? Like it would be so refreshing actually for all frameworks to be able to just download the Visio templates. These are the processes you're going to follow. But one of the things that I really like about your work is that you guys go much further, and you, like you said, you've got documents that support it. It's the documents you would create in service management, but you also have used swim lane views, which is something that I think is missing from a lot of frameworks. It's really nice to see how work passes between different roles in an organization. And you get even further, you get down into the procedure level descriptions and documents around, it's not just a box that says triage the incident or categorize the incident. You can go down further and see the details about what that looks like and why you would be doing those things, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But we shouldn't discredit all the other, let's say, frameworks, publications. If you look at ITIL, for example, there is, of course, a lot more content. We have to extract the key processes and activities, and also some key contents of documents. We cannot possibly have everything that ITIL would have to say about service management or guidance in a process model like ours. We are more like, what we provide is more like a tool for getting started. You can use it in combination with ITIL, various SPM, whatever. There is a lot of guidance. There's more guidance, much more guidance in there than in a product. But we give you a certain skeleton that you can start with, and you can use these other frameworks to find additional guidance, and you can then modify and build upon these processes.
Yeah.
So it's more like we want our customers, we want them to have something to get started with.
Yeah.
Because if you start to define your processes and you have a blank sheet in front of you, that's not easy.
It's so true. It's way easier to edit than to write from scratch.
Yeah.
And I just love the way that you talk about it, because it's so real. I love the idea of having this cheat code. It's like, it's a way to hack service management a lot faster. So totally, I love the advice that you give. And I have to ask, because I love the tongue-in-cheek name, yet another service management framework. How did you come up with it? What's the story behind that?
Yeah, good to hear you say that. The tongue-in-cheek kind of name is also something that I quite like. It has a bit of a almost self-deprecating tone, and we just had to find kind of, and we, at some point, we remembered that in the past there was something called yet another compiler. It is, I've written it down, it is a parser generator. I'm not quite sure what it does, but I like the name. And we thought, couldn't we not have also something yet another? We wanted to be able to buy the domain. It was only $200, so that was cheap. And we could also register the trademark initially. And then it became YaSM. It is, I think, its name because it also transports the message that it's not something completely new and revolutionary. It's a version of something that has been around for a time. It's a version of time-tested advice, but yet
yeah, and I love it because it's clear we don't take it too seriously, and it really incorporates the thinking that you were portraying earlier, taking from Verism, taking from FitSM, taking from ITIL, and taking from YaSM is really the best thing that a team, especially a leader of a team that focuses on processes a lot, if you take from all that, you get all that diversity, you get all that range of thinking to really be your best and find the best, what works for you, right? So who else is like, you must have a team behind you, right? Like, because this is not a
Yes.
small undertaking. So who's on your team? How big is YaSM?
Well, it's actually quite small. There is kind of a team behind me. That's my wife. So it's been the two of us. But we've been doing it for 17 years by now. So it's a small team. But we've been around for many years. And we built up the content bit by bit. We started with an ITIL based set of process templates. That was actually quite small. There was no wiki back then.
Yeah.
The wiki was a couple of years later. So bit by bit, we managed to build up content. So it's basically just the two of us. I think my wife joined me 1 or 2 years after I started on my own.
Okay. Yeah. I'm a
So
huge fan.
it's quite small, actually, quite small around here.
Well, I've been following Andrea for a while, and she's been sharing a lot of the YaSM content. And
she does the social showing kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I love seeing it. I totally love seeing it. And so let's talk about Upkeep, because every organization has this problem. You have these predefined processes. In your case, they're a template, and you want to iterate on them, or you need to make a change. How much time do you spend keeping them up to date? What is the Upkeep like, so that other people can figure out if they should be spending more or less time doing it?
Mm-hmm. I mean, what I usually do, I work on the product most of the time, but what I do is mainly technical work. We have just this year we have started and completed a big job bringing everything into a different platform called BIG. So it was not inventing new processes or new content. It was just creating perfect layouts. You get a rough import, and then you have to perfect everything, check everything. So that is the kind of work we do. Of course, occasionally when we have new editions of ITIL 20,000, then we need to check back. We need to check, what do these new versions say? Is there anything we need to adapt in the YaSM processes? So that kind of bigger update happens when big new versions of ITIL. But thankfully, that doesn't happen too often. I haven't heard of an ITIL 5 yet. A lot of people still digest ITIL 4. So it will be a couple of years, I hope, before we need to do a refresher. And for the customers, the new updates we provide, they are not so important, because they take what we provide, or they adapt it to their needs. So if I come up with a modified, updated set of processes in a couple of years' time, they may not be able, they may not want to use it at all. They say, we now have processes that work for us. So we can check what's new in IT4, but we don't need templates from you.
Yeah. And that's just good advice across the board. If you spend, 3 months and $1 million implementing a framework, and you customize it for your needs and put it into place, don't do that again the next year. That will be a waste of time and money.
Not if it's unnecessary.
Exactly. Just pay attention to the market, pay attention to the differences in change, and then see if there's a place for them. Is there a gap or opportunity to plug them in? Totally.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I need to know, like, how popular is it? Are people ecstatic with it? Are people critical of the idea? How is it received? How is YaSM received?
I mean, what I can say for sure is that we do not get many complaints. In fact, I haven't received any complaints yet. We have, of our various process models, we have over 1,000 organizations using most of our customers, because what we provide, it's not a big ticket item and it's not a subscription. You purchase it once, then you can use it in your organization. And that's why a lot of our customers that, for instance, before they make a purchase, but afterwards they are just gone. So there's not that much feedback I get. At times I get very nice feedback. I think it was a university, a couple of people from a university, West Utah University, I think. They actually asked me, do you also have YaSM t-shirts? So they seem to like it.
Yeah, I want a YaSM t-shirt too. We might make some of those up for a conference. That's a good idea. Okay, so you obviously are a process geek. You must love it, because you're spending all your time reading about this stuff and implementing it and putting it into place. So what advice would you give to other process geeks about their career or managing their processes? Like, what tips would you give people that are like you, that are just coming into understanding process and building the teams behind them?
That's a difficult question. At times, I think you have to be a specific kind of person. If you like talking to people, if you like going out, doing projects, consulting, being in meetings, for example, then it's probably not the right job for you. I spend a lot of time here just drawing, perfecting diagrams. So you need to be maybe a bit introverted. Maybe we can say it that way.
Yeah.
It's not a kind of job many people would like to do. And I guess that's why until today, I haven't seen any competitors yet who really spent years with creating process templates.
Yeah.
In a company, you probably cannot do that. I mean, if you work somewhere, if you are a process manager in an organization, then you cannot just spend all the time you're perfecting processes. Then you also have to be a bit more extrovert. Yeah, you have to speak with people. You have to find out what are current processes. You have to explain what should future processes be. You have to be kind of a change facilitator also. So somebody working in an organization as a process manager, they probably need to be a bit different from the kind they.
Yeah, because it is. It's about people. Process is about people. Okay.
And my experience is if you have something accessible, not like place on a shelf, lots of paper with very descriptions of processes, nobody will read that, of course. But if you are able to discuss processes with people while showing them in a graphical, easily accessible format, then you will be better accepted. You will be better able to explain processes, to have discussions about processes. And I think that is quite important. I've seen a lot of process managers. They were responsible for processes and certifications and that kind of thing. They just had huge piles of paper on their desk. And it didn't really serve a purpose other than getting pro forma certificates. It didn't have any useful effect for the organization because nobody read all those papers.
Yeah, that's such good advice. The process is the people. The process is the practice too. I think that's good advice, because many people, they get into IT or they get into service management thinking they'll never have to work with people. And that is super good advice, because you don't have to work with people, but they're not going to work with you then. So if you want people to come in together, you got to meet them on their terms, and visualizing processes is really how you put them into place. So, Stefan, how can people connect with you and learn more?
I mean, if you want to learn more, we have a free wiki on the web. So the nice thing about my business is that I don't have to put myself in front so much. I put a wiki in front of me, process templates, and if you want to learn more, thinking about service management, about the YaSM processes, the different service management frameworks, then you can have a look at the YaSM wiki. It starts with first principles. What is a service? What is service management? Because we also hope to find or to make service management useful for other organizations. So far, it's only used in IT organizations, but these principles can be used anywhere. So go to the wiki, and on the wiki or on the YaSM website, you will find my contact data, and you can get in touch. You can also find me on LinkedIn, of course.
Of course. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for being on Ticket Volume, Stefan.
I thank you. Thanks for the invitation. And good to meet you. Have a good day.
Likewise. And for the rest of our audience, did you know that you can join us for a live recording? Register today at ticketvolume.com and click on register. Thank you for listening. You can change and improve this podcast. Remember when I begged you at the beginning to please leave comments? Let us know how to improve. We want to improve. And speaking of Ticket Volume, did you know that this podcast is brought to you by Invigate? It's a fit-for-purpose service desk solution with integrated asset management designed to let you focus on supporting your organization without huge headaches of large implementations and wishing you had picked a different solution. In fact, IT teams from Toyota, NASA, and McDonald's use Invigate to manage requests, automate workflows, and centralize inventory data so that they can focus on delivering better service. Because good service is good business.